Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fat Logic book discussion group nominee. This one is called Two Whole Cakes, How to Stop Dieting and Learn to Love Your Body. Now, something interesting about this is that this is a fairly short one. I'm on Libby for this because they didn't have like the physical book, and there's only 86 pages here. It's an even smaller book in print form because I found it on Amazon. And it's like $15 and it's 160 pages. On here it's only 86. The Kindle version is $10. And there's no like distinctive chapters in this. And I'll show you what I mean. So you'll see like the big letters. I'm assuming the big letters introduce like a new topic. And that's essentially where our chapter breaks are. But there's no like definitive chapters, and these big letters like come into play pretty often. So I'm going to just read the first one, and I'll show you the Amazon thing of it here in just a sec, and we'll go into it in a moment. And because it's so short, I'm going to go ahead and just read just the first one. I cannot remember a time in my life when I didn't know I was fat. It is an understanding that has pressed down on me with more gravity than anything else ever could. Okay. Alright. Privilege shown much. Our culture is steeped in ideologies of aspiration, and one of the most inescapable is the pressure to meet narrow standards of beauty and health. Standards that are arbitrary and often damaging. But wait, you object. Don't you know there's an obesity epidemic? It's impossible not to know. All over the media, fatness is heralded as a major health crisis, a mounting threat to the American way of life. Hell, it's the end of human civilization. Even our children are fat. It is unthinkable, in a contemporary reworking of ancient combat in which the crowd cheers for the lions, fat people are tormented by screaming fitness trainers on national television, and people tune in by the millions to watch with unrestrained delight as offensive bodies are elevated from fat sin to starving, dehydrated sainthood. Okay, this is talking about The Biggest Loser. Honey, it's not just fat people. Have you seen reality TV? It's about glorifying the most fucked up of human nature. Like the pettiest level of human nature, everything that it makes humans interesting is often like problematic and is undesirable. So it's not just being fat. And people know that Biggest Loser isn't reality. And that's not why they enjoy watching it. It's this sort of thing where oftentimes it's people that want to lose weight themselves and watch it for motivation, I think. Like modern day gladiators, these combatants battle fiercely, not with an external enemy, but with themselves. They are no longer just an obesity epidemic as defined by those who seek to pathologize and condemn our bodies. It is a fat rampage. And some fat people are responding in kind. Fat people are finding their voices, standing up, speaking out, and taking back their bodies. This book is a transmission from that battlefield. It is a product of 10 years of discussions, arguments, and revelations taking place in and around body acceptance and social justice movements. It is an analysis of intersectional identities and the complex realities of survival as a self-accepting person in a world that loathes self-acceptance. It is my story. It is also the story of many others who have fought for recognition and respect and the right to live in their own bodies according to their desires. It is a memoir, conversation, cultural critique, and self-acceptance instruction manual. That's a lot for 160 pages or like 86 pages. Like that's... You can't be covering anything really in depth here, honey. According to the dubious measurements of the body mass index scale, I am morbidly obese. To put it more succinctly, I am death fat. Ooh, it's one of those that uses the death fat. Oh, this should be interesting. I am super duper, really for real mad fat. I am the kind of fat where doctors are friendly until they get me on the scale. And then after that, they get very quiet. Honey, if you were this fat, they are just trying to figure out how to best approach it. It's not like you were hiding anything and they're like, oh wow, she's 350 pounds. Like, it's not like they couldn't tell. Oh, I imagine them thinking, I didn't realize you were that fat. I am the kind of fat that occasionally outsizes plus size shops. If you are outsizing plus size shops, oh my god. Okay. I am the kind of fat that people reference when they say, well, some people are just big, but people who are really fat are just not normal or healthy, and those people should lose some weight. When they say this sort of thing, they're talking about me. Furthermore, I adore cooking and refuse to keep anything less than real butter in my house. I use real butter too. I don't know why that's such a flex. I eat very little meat, but not for moral or ideological reasons. I just dislike preparing it. Fair enough. And also, one more thing on the butter, just because I am a butter connoisseur. Alright? Danish butter is the best butter. I will fight anyone who disagrees with me on that. I have this Danish butter that I get from this local market that has some international stuff, and there's like actual flakes of sea salt in it. It's fucking delicious. Anyway, I'm easily derailed by butter. My diet consists primarily of fresh vegetables and whole grains, and I have a serious weakness for good cheese. I keep a jar of bacon fat in my refrigerator, and I occasionally use it to cook big leafy greens, because big leafy greens do best with a bit of bacon fat. I wonder how much bacon fat she's actually using. It would never cross my mind to keep a jar of bacon fat in my refrigerator. I actually think my grandmother makes gravy that old-fashioned way by using like the grease and fat drippings from the meat and mixing shit in it to make gravy, and I find it fucking disgusting. I exercise, I have a gym membership, and I use it. I take the stairs at work 5 or 6 times a day, but only because I am too impatient to wait for the elevator. I find this all very hard to believe if she is outsizing the plus size stores. Do you know how big you have to be to outsize the plus size stores? I'm calling some bullshit. But the tests and non-BMI numbers doctors use to measure such things, I am healthy. I have a partner who unconditionally supports my self-acceptance while struggling with his own. I have a decidedly not fat family that is mostly supportive of my choices and realities, except for the very occasional lapse into the "but I'm just worried about your health" rhetoric. I have been fat in varying degrees my whole life. Though I've lost and regained many a pound, I have never lost enough weight to feel a glimmer of what it might be like to be thin. I've never lost enough weight to come close to not fat. Never ever to shop in non-fat stores. Never enough that I wouldn't occasionally hear "fat bitch" hollered at me from a moving car while walking alone on a city street or in a parking lot. I do believe that happened, and that shouldn't happen. That's just a shitty asshole. Or several shitty assholes. Never enough that a doctor's ever said that I was of a normal weight. Never enough that I didn't even for a second feel like I wasn't fat anymore. Now, some folks will read this and think, oh, how sad, but there's no sadness here. I am plainly morbidly obese, death fat. Wait, so death fat, so that's like the infinity fat. So she's really big. I find it so hard to believe that she eats only whole grains and leafy green vegetables. And even though she doesn't like preparing meat, she keeps a jar of bacon fat in her refrigerator. And she'll take the stairs and stuff because she's just impatient, but she's like death fat. She's like the infinity fat, which means she's like a size 40 plus. Something's not adding up. This is fun. This is a fun one. I like this one. I say this without judgment, without disdain. I say it not with an eager ring of reclamation, nor with self-loathing and fear. It just is. I live fully in this real and complicated world. This is a book about many things, but it is mostly about refusing to be sorry. So I gotta give it to her for her confidence that's fine, but there are so many things already in this small bit that we've seen that do not add up. They don't add up. And even her painting of reality shows is like severely skewed. This is interesting. So you can read this whole first section if you want to read it again, plus a few sections forward on the Kindle preview. Let me know what you think. I'm really liking this one for our first book because it's short and it would be easy to get through. And we could probably do. I'm starting to lean towards maybe some live streams where I just like read the book out, but I don't know if like that would like run into copyright issues. I don't know, but this is interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.